The stars bent and twisted as massive ships tore through space above Earth. One by one, the Zephyrian war fleet appeared from hyperspace. Their dark hulls blocked out the sunlight as they moved into position around the blue planet. Admiral Vex Thera stood on the bridge of her flagship, looking down at the world below. Her four arms moved across the control panels as she studied the data flowing across the screens. Earth looked so small and helpless. The humans had only a few space stations and some basic colonies on their moon. Nothing that could threaten a proper war fleet. "Just another primitive world," she said to her officers. "This will be over quickly." The Zephyrians had conquered dozens of planets. They knew how these things worked. The younger species always gave up fast when they saw the size of the fleet. Some tried to fight at first, but they always broke when the real bombing started. Vex Thara had read the reports about humans. They were new to space travel. They had only left their world a few hundred years ago. Their weapons were basic. Their ships were slow. Perfect candidates for the slave markets on the core worlds. "Open a channel to the planet," she ordered. The communication screen flickered to life. A human appeared on the display. He was an older male, with gray hair and tired eyes. Behind him, other humans moved around what looked like a command center. "I am Admiral Vex Thara of the Zephyrian Collective," she announced. "Your world is now under our control. You have two choices: surrender now and become part of our empire, or we will destroy your cities one by one until you beg for mercy." The human looked directly at her through the screen. He did not seem afraid. That was strange. Most species showed fear when they first saw a Zephyrian warfleet. "I am General Harrison of Earth Defense Command," the human said calmly. "We have received your message. We need time to discuss your offer with our leaders." Vex Thera felt annoyed. This was not how things usually went. The humans should be panicking by now. They should be crying and begging for their lives. "You have 6 hours," she said. "After that, we begin the bombardment." The screen went dark. Vex Thara turned to her weapons officer. The tactical display lit up around them. Earth hung in the center, surrounded by small dots representing space stations and satellites. A few patrol ships moved between the moon and the planet. Nothing significant. Nothing that could stop what was coming. "Their largest ships are barely the size of our fighters," the weapons officer reported. "We count maybe 200 vessels total in their entire fleet. Most are cargo ships or research vessels." Vex Thera nodded. It was always the same story. Young species never understood how big the galaxy really was. They thought their little ships and their little weapons made them strong. They had no idea what real military power looked like. But something felt different about this situation. The human general had not begged. He had not tried to negotiate for better terms. He had just asked for time. As if time would change anything. "Are you sure our intelligence is correct?" she asked her science officer. "Yes, Admiral. The humans have been space-capable for less than 300 years. They have no advanced weapons, no energy shields, no faster-than-light communication. They are exactly what they appear to be." Vex Thara walked to the observation deck and looked down at Earth again. The planet looked peaceful from up here. Blue oceans and white clouds. Green and brown continents. It reminded her of Zephyr Prime before the wars had scarred it. But something nagged at her mind. In all their conquests, she had never seen a species react like this. The humans were too calm, too organized. When the communication channel had opened, she had expected to see chaos in their command center. Instead, the humans had moved with purpose and efficiency. 6 hours passed quickly. Vex Thera returned to the bridge as the deadline approached. Her fleet was ready. Particle cannons charged. Missile tubes loaded. Fighters prepared for launch. "Open the channel again," she ordered. General Harrison appeared on the screen again. He looked exactly the same as before. Calm. Ready. Behind him, the command center hummed with quiet activity. "Have you made your decision?" Vexthera asked. Harrison nodded slowly. "Yes, we have. We reject your demand for surrender." Vexthara felt a moment of surprise. Most species at least tried to negotiate terms. They offered tribute or special trading rights, something to avoid total war. "Then you have chosen destruction," she said. "Do not blame us for what happens next." "We do not blame you," Harrison replied. "But I think you should know something before you begin." "What?" "You should have asked the others about us first." The communication ended. Vexthera stared at the dark screen for a moment. What did he mean by the others? What others? "Begin the attack," she ordered, pushing the strange feeling aside. "Target their major cities first. Standard conquest protocol." The fleet opened fire. Bright beams of energy lanced down toward Earth. Missiles streaked through space toward the planet's surface. The attack had begun. But as Vexthara watched the bombardment begin, she could not shake the feeling that something was very wrong. The human's words echoed in her mind. "You should have asked the others about us first." What had he meant by that? The energy beams struck Earth's atmosphere like hammers of light. Vexthara watched the targeting screens as her weapons found their marks. New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow. The biggest human cities should have been burning by now. But something was wrong with the readings. "Report," she demanded from her weapons officer. "Admiral, we are hitting our targets, but the damage is less than expected." Vexthara moved closer to the tactical display. The cities were still there. The energy signatures showed impacts, but not destruction. How was that possible? "Increase power to the particle cannons," she ordered. "Already at maximum, Admiral." On the surface of Earth, something impossible was happening. Instead of running in panic, the humans were moving with perfect organization. Massive shields flickered to life over the cities, deflecting the orbital bombardment. People moved in orderly lines toward underground shelters that seemed to appear from nowhere. "How do they have shield technology?" Vexthara asked. "Our intelligence said they had no advanced defenses." Trime. 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 Her science officer checked the readings again. "I do not know, Admiral. These shields are not showing up on our scans. It is as if they are invisible to our sensors." The first wave of Zephyrian ground forces launched from the troop ships. Thousands of drop pods fell toward Earth like metal rain. They landed in the outskirts of major cities, ready to begin the real conquest. Commander Zektar led the assault force that landed near what the humans called Washington. His troops spread out from the landing zone, expecting to find frightened civilians and weak defenders. Instead, they found empty streets and silence. "Where are the humans?" one of his soldiers asked. Zektar checked his scanner. It showed human life signs all around them, but he could not see anyone. The buildings looked normal. The streets looked clean, but everything was too quiet. "Stay alert," he warned his troops. "Something is not right here." They moved deeper into the city. Their heavy armor clanked against the pavement. Their weapons hummed with charged energy. They were ready for anything, or so they thought. The first attack came from above. Human soldiers dropped from buildings like hunting cats. They moved faster than anything Zektar had ever seen. Before his troops could react, half of them were down. "Contact!" he shouted into his communicator. "We are under attack!" But the humans were already gone. They had hit fast and disappeared back into the buildings. Zektar looked around at his wounded soldiers. How had the humans moved so quickly? How had they known exactly where to strike? "Sir," one of his troops called out, "I am picking up movement in all directions." Zektar felt his blood turn cold. They were surrounded. But how? His scanners had shown this area was lightly defended. The humans were supposed to be weak. The second attack came from the sewers. Metal covers exploded upward as human soldiers emerged from underground. They fought with a fury that shocked the Zephyrians. These were not the cowering primitives from the intelligence reports. These were predators. Commander Zektar watched his soldiers fall one by one. The humans used the city like a weapon. They knew every alley, every building, every hiding place. They struck from unexpected angles and vanished before the Zephyrians could respond. "Fall back to the landing zone," he ordered. But when his remaining troops tried to retreat, they found their path blocked. The humans had somehow moved ahead of them and set up defensive positions. High above, Admiral Vexus Thara watched the battle reports come in. Every landing force was reporting the same thing: heavy resistance, unexpected tactics. Human forces that fought like they had been preparing for this exact battle for years. "Get me Commander Zektar," she ordered. The communication crackled with weapons, fire, and explosions. Zektar's face appeared on the screen. His armor was cracked, and his breathing was heavy. "Report, Commander." "Admiral, these humans are not what we expected. They fight like hunters. They know our every move before we make it. That is impossible. You have superior numbers and better weapons." "Yes, Admiral. But they do not fight like any species we have faced before. They are using our own tactics against us. They captured one of our plasma rifles and had it reverse-engineered within an hour. They are now using improved versions of our own weapons." Vex Thara felt a chill run through her body. No species could adapt that quickly. It took years to understand alien technology, not hours. "Request immediate reinforcements," Zektar continued. "These humans are not primitives. They are—" The communication cut to static. Zektar's signal had gone dark. Vex Thara turned to her communication officer. "Contact all ground commanders." One by one, the reports came in. Every landing force was in trouble. The humans were not just resisting, they were winning. "How is this possible?" she asked her science officer. "I do not know, Admiral. But there is something else. Our long-range sensors are picking up strange readings from the human ships. They are not moving like cargo vessels anymore." Noting. Vex Thara looked at the tactical display. The human ships that had seemed so harmless before were now moving with purpose. They flew in perfect formation, as if controlled by a single mind. "Admiral," her communication officer said urgently, "we are receiving a transmission from the human command." General Harrison's face appeared on the main screen. Behind him, the command center was buzzing with activity. But instead of panic, Vex Thara saw calm efficiency. The humans were not losing. They were fighting back. "Admiral Vex Thara," Harrison said politely. "They will be treated well according to the laws of war." "You cannot hold out forever," Vex Thara replied, trying to sound confident. "We have more ships, more soldiers." Harrison smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of something that had just realized how much stronger it was than its enemy. "Admiral," he said quietly, "you still do not understand what you have done. You should have asked the others about us first." The transmission ended, leaving Vex Thara staring at a dark screen and wondering what the humans meant by the others. Admiral Vex Thara was reviewing the battle reports when the alarms started screaming. Her bridge crew rushed to their stations as warning lights flashed red across the command center. "Report," she shouted over the noise. "Admiral, we have multiple contacts appearing on sensors," her tactical officer announced. "Human ships, moving toward our position." "How many?" "I count 50. No. Wait. 100. The numbers keep growing." Vex Thara looked at the main display. Dots of light appeared around her fleet, like stars being born in space. Where were they coming from? Her sensors had shown empty space just moments before. How did they get so close without being detected? Unknown, Admiral. They seem to have appeared from nowhere. The first human ship came into visual range, and Vex Thera felt her heart skip a beat. This was not one of the small cargo vessels from her intelligence reports. This was a warship, sleek and deadly, moving through space like a living thing. Admiral, her communication officer called out. The humans are requesting to speak with you. R. A new face appeared on the screen. Not General Harrison this time, but a woman with steel-gray eyes and the bearing of a warrior. She wore a uniform that Vex Thara had never seen before. I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet, the human said. You have attacked our world. You have killed our people. Now you will face the consequences. Your ships are outnumbered, Vex Thara replied, trying to sound strong. We have 500 vessels in this fleet. Admiral Chen smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Admiral Vex Thara, you are looking at our patrol fleet. This is not our main force. That is impossible. Our intelligence shows you have less than 200 ships total. Your intelligence is very poor, Chen replied calmly. You should fire your spies. The human ships opened fire without warning. Beams of energy lanced through space toward the Zephyrian fleet. But these were not the weak weapons Vex Thara had expected. The human beams cut through Zephyrian shields like they were not even there. Return fire, Vex Thara ordered. Her fleet responded, filling space with deadly energy. The Zephyrian cannons were the most advanced weapons in the known galaxy. They had destroyed entire fleets with these guns. The human ships dodged every shot. They moved like fish in water, twisting and spinning through space as if gravity meant nothing to them. The Zephyrian gunners could not get a lock on them. Every time they fired, the humans were already somewhere else. How are they moving like that? Vex Thara demanded. Unknown, Admiral. Their acceleration rates are beyond anything in our database. Captain Relton commanded one of the Zephyrian fighter squadrons. He had been in dozens of space battles and had never lost a single pilot under his command. Today, that record was about to be broken. Stay in formation, he told his pilots as they launched from the carrier. These are just primitives with stolen technology. The human fighters came to meet them. At first glance, they looked similar to Zephyrian designs, but as the battle began, Relton realized these ships were something entirely different. The humans did not fight like any species he knew. They worked together like a pack of hunting animals. When one human ship was in trouble, the others covered it. When they attacked, they struck as one unit with perfect timing. They are coordinating their attacks, one of his pilots reported. They seem to know what we are going to do before we do it. Relton watched in horror as his squadron was picked apart piece by piece. The humans were not just winning, they were playing with his pilots. They could have ended the fight quickly, but instead, they seemed to be studying Zephyrian tactics and weaknesses. All units, fall back to the main fleet, he ordered. But as his remaining fighters tried to retreat, they found their escape routes blocked. The humans had somehow predicted their withdrawal and were waiting for them. Back on the flagship, Admiral Vex Thara watched her fighter squadrons disappear from the tactical display one by one. This was not possible. Her pilots were the best in the collective. Her ships were the most advanced in the galaxy. Admiral, her science officer said quietly, I am detecting something strange about the human weapons. What do you mean? They are using our own technology against us, but they have somehow improved it. The humans are firing Zephyrian plasma cannons that are more powerful than our own. Vex Thara stared at the report. How long since we engaged them? 3 hours, Admiral. And they have already reverse-engineered our weapons and improved them? It appears so. A new alarm sounded. The flagship shuddered as something struck the hull. Emergency lights flickered as damage reports poured in. 18. Hull, breach on deck 7, someone reported. We are under attack by boarding parties. Boarding parties? How did they get past our shields? Unknown, Admiral. They appear to have cut through the hull with some kind of plasma torch. Vex Thara had never heard of boarding parties using plasma torches to cut through starship armor. It should have taken hours to burn through her ship's hull. But somehow, the humans had done it in minutes. Security reports began flooding the bridge. Human soldiers were moving through the ship like ghosts. They knew exactly where to go and exactly how to disable key systems. They moved through the corridors as if they had the ship's blueprints memorized. How do they know our ship design? Vex Thara asked. Admiral, her communication officer said with fear in his voice. We are receiving another transmission from the human fleet. Admiral Chen appeared on the screen again. Behind her, Vex Thara could see other humans working at control stations. They moved with calm efficiency, as if winning this battle was just another day at work. Admiral Vex Thara, Chen said politely. We have taken control of 3 of your ships and captured 200 of your crew members. They are being treated according to galactic law. This is impossible, Vex Thara replied. You cannot have learned our technology so quickly. Admiral, Chen said. And her voice carried a note of patience, like a teacher explaining something to a slow student. We have been watching you since you entered our solar system. We know everything about your ships, your weapons, and your tactics. You broadcast your communications on frequencies we mastered centuries ago. Your computers use encryption we broke in the first hour. Vex Thara felt the blood drain from her face. You have been watching us? Of course. This is our territory. We always watch new visitors. Usually they come in peace. You, unfortunately, chose a different path. Our intelligence said you were primitives. Admiral Chen's expression grew cold. Your intelligence was wrong about many things, but the biggest mistake was not asking the right questions. What questions? You should have asked the other species about us, Admiral. Any of them could have told you the truth. What truth? Admiral Chen leaned forward, and for the first time, Vex Thara saw something terrifying in those steel-gray eyes. Not anger, not hatred, but the calm patience of a predator that had been waiting a very long time for this moment. You should have asked them what kind of world produces a species like us, Chen said quietly. You should have asked them what we really are. The transmission ended, leaving Vex's Thara alone with her fears and the growing realization that her fleet was not conquering Earth. Earth was hunting them. Admiral Vex Thara sat in her command chair, staring at the tactical display. Half her fleet was gone. The other half was trapped in the solar system, surrounded by human ships that seemed to multiply like bacteria. She had never faced anything like this in 2 decades of conquest. Admiral, her communication officer said quietly, we have an incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. Vex Thara felt her stomach drop. The Council only contacted field commanders during active operations when something had gone terribly wrong. She had not reported her attack on Earth yet. How did they know? The screen flickered to life, showing the familiar face of Counselor Mektar, a Thraxian diplomat with centuries of experience. His usually calm expression showed something Vex Thara had never seen before. Fear. Admiral Vex Thara, he began without greeting. Please tell me you have not attacked the human homeworld. Counselor, we are conducting a standard conquest operation. The humans are... By the void, Mektar interrupted, his scales turning pale. You did attack them. How many ships do you have left? Counselor, I do not understand. These are primitives. Our intelligence clearly showed. Your intelligence was designed to keep species away from Earth, not encourage attacks. Mektar's voice rose to a shout. Every intelligence agency in the galaxy has standing orders to make humans appear weak and primitive. It is the only way to keep the peace. Vex Thara felt the world spinning around her. What are you saying? I am saying that you have just attacked the most dangerous predator species in the known galaxy. May your ancestors forgive us all. The transmission paused as Mektar composed himself. When he spoke again, his voice carried the weight of ancient knowledge. Let me tell you about Earth, Admiral. Let me tell you what you have done. The screen shifted to show a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. Thousands of stars glowed in different colors, each representing a different type of world. These blue stars represent garden worlds, Mektar explained. Planets with gentle climates, peaceful evolution, and species that developed intelligence through cooperation and harmony. Most of us come from such worlds, while having Raumpiat exception. Yes, counselor. This is basic galactic geography, and these red stars represent death worlds. Planets so hostile that only the strongest, most adaptable, most ruthless species can survive to develop intelligence. Vex Thara looked at the map. There were very few red stars. Maybe 1 in 1,000 worlds earned that classification. Earth is not just a death world, Admiral. Earth is the death world. It is the most hostile planet ever found that still produced an intelligent species. The display zoomed in on Earth's solar system. The blue-green planet looked peaceful from space, but as information scrolled past, Vex Thara began to understand. Earth's gravity is twice what most species consider normal, Mektar continued. The planet is covered in salt water that would poison most life forms. The atmosphere is rich with oxygen, a gas so reactive it would kill most of us within minutes. Vex Thara studied the data flowing past her eyes. Earth's weather patterns showed massive storms that could level cities, temperature variations that swung from killing heat to deadly cold, geological activity that could destroy entire continents without warning. The planet tries to kill everything on it, every day, Mektar said. Ice ages that last for thousands of years, volcanic eruptions that block out the sun, asteroid impacts that cause mass extinctions, and somehow, humans not only survived all of this, they thrived. But they seem so. That is what makes them so dangerous. They look like us. They sound like us. They even think like us in some ways. But underneath that familiar exterior, they are predators, shaped by the most hostile world in the galaxy. The display changed to show human anatomy. Vex Thara was shocked by what she saw. Look at their physical structure, Admiral. Dense bones that can survive impacts that would kill most of us. Muscles designed for endurance hunting. Eyes that can track movement across vast distances. Brains that can process tactical information faster than our best battle computers. Endurance hunting? Humans are persistence predators, Admiral. On their homeworld, they would chase prey animals for days without stopping, running them to exhaustion before moving in for the kill. They turned this talent into a spacefaring civilization. When humans want something, they never stop hunting until they get it. Vex Thara thought about the human ships that had appeared from nowhere, surrounding her fleet. They had been patient. They had waited. They had studied their prey before striking. There is more, Mektar continued. Humans are pack hunters. They form bonds with other species and fight together as units. Every major galactic conflict for the past 2 centuries has ended when humans chose a side. They do not just win battles, Admiral. They win wars. Why was this not in our intelligence reports? Because every government in the galaxy has standing orders to hide the truth about humans. We tell ourselves it is to prevent panic, but really, it is because we are terrified of what would happen if humans decided to stop being peaceful. The display showed images from human colonies throughout the galaxy. Vex Thara had seen some of these places during her travels, but she had never realized what she was looking at. Humans have been exploring space for less than 500 years, Mektar said. In that time, they have established colonies on over 300 worlds. Not just garden worlds, Admiral. They colonize planets that would kill most of us just by breathing the air. Vex Thara saw humans living on worlds covered in ice. Humans working in the radiation fields, around massive stars. Humans building cities on planets with poisonous atmospheres and crushing gravity. They adapt to any environment, Mektar continued. They learn any technology. They master any challenge. and they remember every species that has wronged them or their allies. Are you saying they will seek revenge? I am saying that humans do not seek revenge, Admiral. They seek justice. And they are very, very patient about getting it. The transmission paused again. When Mektar spoke again, his voice was barely a whisper. There is one more thing you should know about humans, Admiral. Something that terrifies every intelligence agency in the galaxy. What? They have been quietly mapping every spacefaring civilization for the past 3 centuries. They know the location of every homeworld, every military base, every trade route. They have detailed files on the strengths and weaknesses of every species in the galaxy. Vexthara felt her blood turn to ice. For what purpose? We do not know. They claim it is just their nature to understand their environment. But the result is that humans could cripple galactic civilization in a matter of months if they chose to do so. And we never noticed? Human intelligence agents look exactly like humans. Their ships look like cargo vessels or research stations. They smile and trade and make friends while they map everything and learn everything. We invited them to study us, Admiral. We welcomed them into our homes. The communication crackled as alarms began sounding on Mektar's end. I must go, Admiral. The Council is convening an emergency session to discuss how to minimize the damage from your attack. If any of your ships survive this encounter, consider yourself fortunate. But remember, humans have very long memories. This will not be forgotten. The transmission ended, leaving Vexthara alone with the terrible knowledge of what her species had done. They had not attacked a primitive world. They had attacked the apex predators of the galaxy. And now those predators were hunting them. Admiral Vexthara had not slept in 3 days. Her fleet was trapped in the solar system, surrounded by human forces that seemed to grow stronger with each passing hour. Every attempt to break out had failed. Every attack had been turned back. Her proud war fleet was being slowly, methodically dismantled. Admiral, her tactical officer reported, we are receiving movement signatures from the asteroid belt. Vexthara looked at the display and felt her heart sink. What they had thought was empty space was revealing itself to be anything but empty. Massive structures were emerging from among the asteroids. Not ships, space stations, weapons, platforms, military installations that had been hiding in plain sight. How many? She asked. Still counting, Admiral. At least 50 major installations, possibly more. A new alarm began sounding. Her communication officer looked up from his station with fear in his eyes. Admiral, we have massive energy signatures appearing throughout the system. Something big is happening. On the main display, space itself seemed to come alive. Ships appeared from behind the moons of Jupiter. Military bases revealed themselves on Mars. Hidden installations emerged from the clouds of Venus. The entire solar system had been one giant trap, and the Zephyrians had walked right into it. By the void, someone whispered. How long have they been preparing for this? The answer came in the form of a new transmission. This time, it was not Admiral Chen or General Harrison. The face that appeared on the screen was older, with white hair and eyes that seemed to have seen everything the galaxy had to offer. I am Director Sarah Williams of Earth Central Command, the woman said calmly. I believe it is time we had an honest conversation, Admiral Vexthara. You have us surrounded, Vexthara replied. What more is there to say? There is much to say, Williams replied. But first, let me show you something. The display around Vexthara changed. She was no longer looking at her own bridge, but at a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. Points of light appeared throughout the star map, thousands of them, all pulsing in perfect synchronization. Each of those lights represents a human intelligence station, Williams explained. We have been watching the galaxy for over 300 years. Admiral, we know the location of every Zephyrian military base, every supply depot, every colony world. We have detailed files on your military capabilities, your economic infrastructure, and your political leadership. 2. Vexthara stared at the map in horror. There were human stations everywhere. Watching. Waiting. Learning. Why? She asked. Because it is our nature, Williams replied. Humans are persistence hunters, Admiral. We study our environment completely before we act. We learn everything about potential threats and potential allies. Are you threatening the entire collective? Williams shook her head. We are not threatening anyone, Admiral. We are simply prepared for any possibility. This is what predators do. We know our territory. The map shifted to show Zephyrian space in detail. Every world was marked. Every fleet position was noted. The humans knew everything. You could destroy us, Vexthara realized. We could cripple your entire civilization within a week if we chose to. Williams confirmed. But we do not choose to. That is what makes us different from you. Then what do you want? Williams leaned forward, and her expression grew serious. We want you to understand what you have done here, Admiral. You have attacked our homeworld. You have killed our people. By the laws of war, we would be justified in demanding total surrender and occupation of your territory. Vexthara felt her throat go dry. And we are going to offer you something better. A chance to join the community of civilized species instead of continuing as conquerors. The display changed again, showing images from across the galaxy. Human ships working alongside alien vessels. Mixed crews exploring new star systems. Trade stations where dozens of species work together in harmony. This is what we do, Admiral, Williams continued. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. We hunt down those who prey on the innocent. We keep the peace in a galaxy that has known too much war. You want us to surrender? We want you to evolve. The age of conquest is ending, Admiral. Species like yours, who survive by taking from others, are becoming extinct. The future belongs to those who create instead of destroy. A new voice joined the conversation. Admiral Chen appeared beside Williams on the screen. We are offering terms, Chen said. Complete disarmament of your military forces, reparations for the damage done to Earth, and integration into the galactic community under human oversight. And if we refuse? Williams answered this time. Then you will face the full consequences of attacking a human world. We will hunt down every Zephyrian military installation in the galaxy. We will destroy your ability to threaten anyone ever again. And we will do it slowly, methodically, the way humans have always hunted. Vexthara looked around her bridge at her remaining officers. They had all heard the conversation. They had all seen the display showing human capabilities. They knew as well as she did that resistance was hopeless. You have been preparing for this war for centuries, she said. No, Admiral, Williams replied. We have been preparing to prevent this war for centuries. Every intelligence station, every hidden base, every secret weapon was built to serve as a deterrent. The galaxy stays peaceful because everyone knows what happens when they wake up the predators of Earth. And if we had not attacked, then you never would have known we existed. We prefer it that way. Peace is better than war, even for predators. Vexthara made her decision. It was not really a choice at all. I surrender my fleet to human authority, she said formally. I request terms for the Zephyrian collective. Williams nodded. Wise choice, Admiral. You will find that humans can be generous victors to those who choose cooperation over continued conflict. The transmission began to end, but Williams spoke once more. There is one more thing you should understand, Admiral. This encounter will be reported to every species in the galaxy. They will all learn what happened when someone chose to attack Earth. That knowledge will help keep the peace for generations to come. The screen went dark. Vexthara sat in her command chair, surrounded by the ruins of her proud fleet, and finally understood what the humans had tried to tell her from the beginning. She should have asked the others about humanity first. Now everyone in the galaxy would know what happened to those who woke the sleeping predators of Earth. The humans had not just won a battle. They had sent a message that would echo across the stars for centuries. Peace through strength. Cooperation through fear. The predators of Earth stood guard over the galaxy, patient and watchful, and utterly merciless to those who chose the path of war. And the galaxy would be safer for it.